Alright, so welcome back today, guys. So for my Christmas present to y'all on YouTube is I decided we're going to do a equipment tour of our whole farms. So we got 3 different farm yards. So right now we are at Trevon, which is the 4-house chicken house farm, and we are in the litter shed where we store all of our equipment. So right off the bat, we got our main chicken house tractor, our Case IH Farmall 75C. This tractor has 75 horsepower. It is a 2012 model, I believe, with the front end loader, and we got a set of forks for it too. It's a little bit under horsepower for what we do with it, but we make it work. We like to buy a bigger tractor for the chicken houses, but we don't have 50 grand to spend either. So next on our list would be our poultry sprayer. This thing holds 500 gallons and it's got a fire hose on the back of it, and then it's got 2 sprayer nozzles. Either you can hit the ceiling or the ground, whichever you prefer. Alright, this is our LP96 pulverizer. You've heard me talk about it before in our chicken house videos. I think it's 8 feet wide if I'm not mistaken. Next up, this is our LVI windrower. This thing is what does the majority. We use it for all of our litter work. We very much like this windrower, and if we ever buy a new one, there's a good chance it will probably be this style. The only downfall is with our tractor. Our tractor is a little under horsepower for this thing because we like to go fast. And this tractor will pull it, it's just you gotta go slower. So it's just a little bit of us being impatient. But this thing works good. Just wish we had a bigger tractor to handle it. Our blower, we bought it from the county. These things are quite expensive. I don't see how they're this expensive, but this one is like $1,900. And it's basically a giant leaf blower that goes on the back of the tractor. Now it works good, it just does not cut the needs for blowing off the dust on the ceilings of the chicken houses like we want it to do. You're better off to go through there with a leaf blower or a broom and knock the dust off. So it works good, but we probably would not buy it again. So as you can see, Alex has great camera holding skills, and you can totally see the whole grain trailer behind me. And I done told her to get to that end so you could see the whole thing, but she says she is better at this than me. So as you can see the whole grain trailer behind me. Anyways, this is our 40-foot grain trailer. It is a super bottom hopper. I think that's how you say it, super bottom hopper. Anyways, it can hold anywhere from 1,200 to 1,300 bushels of grain. It's just 2 axles on the back, so legally with our semi, we can only haul 80,000 pounds. And this trailer, in the back of it, it needs a little bit of framework, but for the amount of times we use it a year, we're not that worried about it. But eventually, it will need some framework. On our next item, you guys have seen this cart before. We use it quite a lot while we're sitting at barns. It is quite helpful. This is our old gravity wagon. I have no idea what year it is or how many bushels it holds. I just know it works for us and it works good. We replaced all the bearings in it not too long ago, and the tires still hold air, so I think it's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta sneeze.
This is our RC 2512. This is a 12-foot bush hog. So as you know, we have a 15-foot bush hog. That's the brand. We call them bush hogs instead of batwings. But anyways, RC 25 batwing. It's a lamb prod. We use this only at the chicken houses because our 75C can pull this bush hog, and it's much easier to pull this thing than it is to bring the 1486 down with the 15-foot batwing and do that, because it's tighter and it's just more of a pain. It's much easier to have this batwing too, and for what we paid for it, we pretty much bought it for nothing, and it's been super helpful. Alright, right here we got our Rural King Special. If I'm not wrong, I think we may have bought this on Black Friday actually a few years ago, but actually no, we've had this thing probably 6 or 7 years, I think. But anyways, a Rural King Special spreader. So right here behind me, this is what we call the decaker. So the only way you guys have probably seen this if you have chicken houses yourself. This is something we own. It's fairly new. We barely use it. We bought it brand new. So what this thing does is it's like the pulverizer. It goes in and breaks up the crust of the litter. But the only thing that this thing does that the pulverizer does not is it doesn't do as good as a job at breaking up the litter as the pulverizer does. So those big chunks the decaker does not break up, it sends them up into it's got like a bed behind me here, and it fills up, and then you got to dump the litter out somewhere else. And the reason why we do not use this is because, one, it does not do as good a job as pulverizing, and then once that fills up, you got to store your litter somewhere. So then we're taking up shed room to store litter because we're pulling it out of the barn. Where with the pulverizer, it goes through, it does a better job, and we don't have to store litter. And if you do most time people just decake, so we wouldn't be windrowing at all. And windrowing is better for the litter anyways than decaking. We just own this in case our flock advisors ever tell us that we have to use this thing. So this is our 500 bushel grain cart. This thing has the big floater tires on it because we have a lot of hillsides, so it works better with having bigger tires on it. And the auger is the old style where it still comes out the middle of the cart instead of the corner. And the auger is at that point of being wore out, but we haven't replaced it yet because we don't do that much grain. So we just haven't replaced it yet. So that's the story of that thing. And I forget the brand, but John Deere actually did not design that car, I believe. There was a different brand, like Farm Unit or something like that. I don't know, it started with a U, I think. But actually, they made the cart and they were painted orange. And then John Deere bought them and painted them a John Deere green and put 500 on it. Because on the inside of that cart, where the grain wears off the paint, it's turning orange. So out here right beside the litter shed, we got our 6-foot bush hog, some box blades and grater blades. There's our set of forks for the tractor. And then we have some pipe. We have all those blue jugs from our peroxide that we use in the chicken houses. And then a bunch of old pallets. A lot of that's trash that needs to be put in the dump truck and taken home to burn, because that is trash from the solar panel project. We just have not accomplished that yet. All right, we are over at Drumsticks now. This is our 2-house chicken house farm. And this is our Bobcat. You guys have probably rarely seen this before. So this is a 753. It's very small. It probably can't, the only thing it can run is probably a bucket. It can't run any hydraulic attachment. It's too small for that. But all we do is we use it for flipping compost, which is, and handling around dead chickens and all that. It basically just gets used over here at Drumsticks for flipping compost, covering dead chickens up with sawdust, and that's about it. 693 6-row corn head. Obviously it's red, so it's Case, the best brand out there. But anyways, we don't put very many acres on this head. Most of the components on it are new or newer, where we've replaced them over the years. And we have our own custom flatbed head trailer for it. You have to make sure you park it in a ditch, so that way the combine can reach up high enough to put the head on the trailer, because if it's a level surface, the combine will never reach up high enough to put the head on the trailer. So it's quite a challenge getting the head on and off the trailer, but it's better than the head sitting on the ground outside. And this is what we call the head shed, because it's basically just a canopy pretty much. As you can tell, it is protecting the head from any weather that comes through this area. So right here, what we got first is our Adams chicken litter spreader. You guys have seen a lot of that lately. So this is a 20-foot spreader. It can hold about 10 to 12 tons of litter. It is a hydraulic driven unit. Like, it runs off a hydraulic pump. The PTO turns the pump. And then it's got basically, I'd say, almost new chain and sprockets. The bed's been painted, and it's lifted up on the frame where it's got this big space right here, so that way it sits higher off the ground. The 1020 Case bean head. This thing is a 20-foot cut on the bean head. It needs 2 new lift cylinders for the reel. Some bushings are out on the bats, as I think you would call them. So those need to be replaced. It sits over here in the barn. We are not 100% sure if we'll have it for next year. It's more if a deal comes along, we like to get maybe a nicer, bigger, just a little bit bigger head. But that's only if the deal is there. Rex, did you like Equipment Tour Part 1? You need to be... Did you like it? Bye. But thank you guys for watching Part 1 of this video. So in Part 1 we went to Truvon, Drumsticks, and Bobby's. Next video it's going to be all at the home farm. So if you guys enjoyed it, that was more of the chicken house side of it. And a little bit of row crop was in it, but more chicken house. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. Remember, faith, family, farm. See you in the next one.